You ever get that feeling that your workplace could be, well, just better? Today, we're going to dig into a practical guide for transforming our work lives. We're not talking about abstract theories, but about building a real, thriving community, one small practice at a time.
So let's just ask it outright. Why do so many workplaces feel like they're falling short, like something's missing? It's a feeling a lot of us have, and the good news is we're going to explore a really concrete way to start fixing that.
I mean, let's face it, the ground is totally shifting under our feet. We've got technology changing at lightning speed, teams scattered all over the globe, and a workforce with entirely new expectations. It all adds up to a whole new set of challenges for the modern workplace.
And because of all that change, the old playbook, it's just not going to cut it anymore. This isn't about small tweaks, rearranging the furniture. This is about fundamentally rethinking how we work and how we lead.
So what do we do? Well, it starts with a pretty big shift in perspective. Instead of constantly playing whack-a-mole, always trying to fix what's broken, what if we flipped the script? What if we started focusing on what's already going right, on what truly makes people and organizations flourish? And that brings us to this fascinating field of research called positive organizational scholarship, or POS for short. This isn't just some fluffy, feel-good idea. It's a whole approach that studies what actually fosters human strength, vitality, and, exceptional performance. It's all about unlocking that incredible potential that's just sitting there, untapped in pretty much every organization.
And here's the kicker, the part that gets everyone's attention. There is hard evidence behind this. Research proves that qualities like compassion and civility are not just nice-to-haves. Nope. They are directly linked to better performance and productivity. In other words, doing good is actually good for business. That's a game changer.
And this isn't some narrow little field either. It's a really comprehensive framework. It's built on these 5 key pillars. We're talking positive leadership, finding meaning and purpose, having strong ethics and virtues, building great relationships, and of course, creating a positive culture. It's truly about building better organizations from the inside out.
Okay, so if POS is the philosophy, the why, then what's the how? What's the actual vehicle we can use to bring all this great stuff to life? Well, it all comes down to one incredibly powerful concept: building a community.
Specifically something called a community of practice. It sounds formal, but it's actually really simple. It's just a group of people who share a passion for what they do, and they get together regularly to learn from each other and support each other. It's a proven model for growth that we can absolutely apply here.
So, what do these groups actually do? Well, this gives you a great idea. It's all about sharing real-world stories and strategies, learning from the latest research, and, maybe most important of all, supporting each other as you try to put these positive ideas into action.
All right, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great, but how do I actually build one of these things? Perfect question. Let's get right into the blueprint.
Turns out, there are 4 guiding principles that make these communities really thrive. First up, connection. You've got to create real chances for people to connect as human beings. Second, relevant learning. The topics have to be stuff people can actually use in their day-to-day. Third is purposeful practice, giving folks tangible ways to try these new ideas out. And finally, sharing and reflection. Creating that safe space for people to share their stories is key.
And that last point, it's absolutely critical. I love this quote because nothing works without psychological safety. Creating that trust where people feel safe enough to be vulnerable and share what's really going on, that's the secret sauce. That is what truly brings a group together and makes all this learning actually stick.
Okay, let's talk nuts and bolts. How do you actually set one up? Well, the sweet spot for group size is right around 10 to 15 people. You'll want to meet about once a month for at least 90 minutes. And here's a pro tip. Ask for a 1-year commitment. It really helps to build that momentum and trust.
And how do you keep it thriving long-term? Well, a few key things. Make sure your group is diverse. A good mix of roles and backgrounds is huge. Share the responsibility for organizing things so it doesn't all fall on one person. And you've got to find that perfect balance between having some structure and just letting the conversation flow organically. Let the group's energy be your guide.
When you really boil it all down, this is about so much more than just improving your own work life. It's about joining a larger movement to create better, more humane workplaces for every single one of us.
Because what you're building here, it's not just another meeting on the calendar. Think of it more like a lab. It's a safe space to experiment with new ideas, to learn from each other, and to actively build a better culture together.
So the invitation is pretty clear, right? Join the movement. Join the thousands of people who are passionate about creating more positive and humane workplaces. It all starts with one small group.
And that leaves us with one final, crucial question. Let's forget the big picture for just a moment and make it personal. Tomorrow, what is the very first step you will take?